talk about Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. Currently, as I record this video, they are red hot in the NFC. They are 3-1, and they're currently on a 3-game winning streak. And this is year 2 with Coach McDonald as the head coach. Now, in year 1, they finished 10-7. He was a very successful head coach in year 1 with Seattle. They're just 1 game away from making the NFL playoffs. And whenever you bring in a brand new coach, they have to deal with the previous regime and their players. Geno Smith was not going to be his guy long term. They had DK Metcalf on this roster. Mike McDonald was not here when they drafted DK Metcalf, and you had an aging wide receiver and Tyler Lockett. The biggest reasons why you moved on from Pete Carroll, he could not adjust in this division to coaching styles with Sean McVay, and the same with Kyle Shanahan. Both of those coaches, they love to run the football. For many years now, with Sean McVay, he did this early on with Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. They ran the football at a high clip, and they're doing it once again with Matthew Stafford, the quarterback position, who's able to air you out with Devontae Adams and same with Puka Nacua. And you look at the running back that they have, Kyron Williams. He's a top running back in football. And then you look at this situation with the 49ers, with and without Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Shanahan, he's going to run the football at will. That's what he learned from his dad, Mike Shanahan. So I look at it from this situation here. If you cannot go out there and stop the run on a consistent basis, it's going to be hard to win games in this division. And even with the Arizona Cardinals, when James Conner was fully healthy, he's going to miss the rest of the season dealing with a brutal leg injury, but he's a top power back in the game. And for the last 5 years, with Pete Carroll, they could not stop the run. When you brought in Coach McDonald from the Baltimore Ravens, they had the best defense in football. They were phenomenal against the pass. They were amazing against the run. And you look at that Ravens defense since he left, they haven't been the same. And they have better personnel since he left. But when we go back to last season, the one thing that I will say about Coach McDonald here, he brought in the wrong offensive coordinator and they had a terrible offensive philosophy. You had Ryan Grubb as your offensive coordinator. Ryan Grubb came over from the college level with Washington. He helped coach up Michael Penix Jr., Roma Dunze, and Jalen Polk. And for the ones that don't know, that Washington team, they went to the national championship against Michigan. So he was doing something right. But at the same time, that was a pass-heavy system at the college level that can work in college. He brought that over to the NFL. Geno Smith, for the first 12 weeks in 2024, he led the league in passing attempts. That's a no-go. Geno Smith is not this top-end quarterback. He's not on the same level with some of the best quarterbacks in football, even though he is a talented player. He's a solid option to have at this position. So they abandoned the run game until the last 5 games of the regular season, and they still won 10 games because of how amazing their defense was. And even with Geno Smith being able to step up in some big-time moments last year, he had a very good game against the San Francisco 49ers. He goes into the red zone for a rushing touchdown. That was a game-winning drive. But he had a bunch of interceptions, a beat-up offensive line early on with no Abraham Lucas, who's missed a lot of time over the last 2 years with a knee injury. Now he's fully healthy. So it's time to move on from that offensive coaching staff. So you go out there and you trade Geno Smith. It's a lot of reports that came out that Seattle reportedly offered him a contract extension. He wanted to reunite with Pete Carroll, so they sent him to the Raiders, which was an excellent move because that leads you to go out there and to bring in Sam Darnold, who I feel like is a younger and is a better quarterback at this stage of the game. You can build with Sam Darnold for the next 3 to 5 years, and you give Sam Darnold this 3-year contract. Now, if Sam Darnold does not perform for this entire season, you can cut him after this year. There's no dead money after this season on this contract, which is an excellent deal for the front office and for the entire Seahawks organization. But you bring over Sam Darnold, who just came off a career year with the Minnesota Vikings. And we could talk about the talent that he had around him with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, amazing offensive head coach, and Kevin O'Connell. But Sam Darnold still had to make those big-time throws down the field. He still had to get inside and outside the pocket. Statistically, he was a top 10 quarterback last year in passing touchdowns and passing yards. He was a phenomenal player in that system with the Minnesota Vikings. But when you moved off of Ryan Grubb, you had to bring in a brand new offensive coordinator. Now, Sam Darnold bounced around the NFL. He's a former first-round pick with the Jets. The talent has always been there. The Jets, they'll go out there. They would trade him to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, things did not end out very well, but he had some good moments with the Carolina Panthers. It's important to bring up the Jets. They can't develop a quarterback, and the same with the Panthers. They're terrible organizations right now. But Sam Darnold goes over to the San Francisco 49ers. And the reason why I'm going back and I'm rehashing history here is because Clint Kubiak was on that 49ers coaching staff. And he became the backup to Brock Purdy. So at any time in practice and scrimmages, when Sam Darnold's taking reps, who is right there with him? It's not Kyle Shanahan. It's Clint Kubiak. And they build a special connection on and off the field. So you bring in Clint Kubiak, the connection's already there with him and Sam Darnold to have this offense that they have right now. And this offense with Seattle, it's a very good offense. It's far from perfect, but it's working so far. Then you trade DK Metcalf to the Steelers because you drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba in the first round a few years back. He's become one of the best wide receivers in the game. He was primarily an inside wide receiver when DK Metcalf was on this roster, and the same with Tyler Lockett. Now he could play on the outside. He had beautiful plays against the Arizona Cardinals. But when I look at this offense here for the Seahawks, the work that Clint Kubiak did with Sam Darnold was a bunch of plays under center. And we saw this last year with Kevin O'Connell. And all the plays, they may look the same, but they're different. When they go under center, they could pass the football to Jackson Smith and Jigba. They could pass the football to Cooper Kupp, who they also brought in free agency. Not the same Cooper Kupp 3-4 years ago with the Rams because of injuries, but he's still one of the best route runners in the game. That's enough juice on the outside. So you put Sam under center. You take away some of those turnover-worthy plays, and you make the formations tighter. You have two tight ends on the field with A.J. Barner, who's been a very good rookie so far. And the same with Elijah, two very good players. And then you can run the football at a higher clip than you did last year with Ryan Grubb because he did not commit to the run game. And now you get the football to Kenneth Walker III. Now you get the football to Zach Charbonnet. Look at what Kenneth Walker III was able to do against the Steelers. Average over 8 yards a carry. Now, the Steelers defense, they're having a tough time right now stopping the run, but still give the Seahawks credit here. And then you have Zach Charbonnet. This has always been the formula with Seattle in this backfield. You get the explosive plays with Kenneth Walker III. He's not a true bell cow. His body cannot take on 20, 25 carries every single week. Sure, in a couple games it can. He's a stout running back. But Zach Charbonnet, that's the man in between the tackles. He can break away. And he can get you 10 to 15 yards, but he's going to break those tackles in space. And while your defense is tired, let's kill him with the wide zone with Kenneth Walker III. Let's get those toss plays on the outside and get those linebackers going from sideline to sideline. And off of that, we work into play action. You didn't see this last year with Seattle. That's development and that's growth with this offense and this philosophy with Coach McDonald. Now, when I said that this offense is far from perfect, in week 1 against the 49ers, you lost this matchup, which is a division game. And that 49ers team, they were banged up. But you lost that matchup 17-13. They were so conservative in that matchup with Clint Kubiak. I want to see him go out there and just open up this offense. Not going to shotgun for majority of the game, but let Sam Darnold go out there and air the football out. Kevin O'Connell, he was not concerned about that. He let Sam Darnold go out there and make those big-time throws to Justin Jefferson, and the same with Jordan Addison repeatedly. So in week 1, you lost that matchup. It was a bunch of miscues by Seattle and the same with the 49ers in that game. And it came down to a bad play. Nick Bosa, he beats the tackle. It's a script sack. You lose that matchup. Now, the next week, Sam Darnold did have more passing attempts. He had 2 interceptions in that matchup against the Steelers, but you still won that game 31-17. The offense looked better, but was still very conservative. Against the New Orleans Saints, this is how you coach up against a bad team. You stomp them out immediately. You win this matchup 44-13 on the offensive end. Sam Darnold was very efficient. 14-18, 218 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. They don't look at the Steelers as a Super Bowl contender. They may not look at the Saints as a Super Bowl contender because they're one of the worst teams in football. But the Arizona Cardinals, they're no slouches in this division. But they had this game in their hand, and they almost let the Cardinals come back in because you're being so conservative in this matchup. We could talk about Josh missing that field goal late in the 4th quarter. Then he redeems himself just a couple minutes later. He makes a walk-off field goal. You have to go out there and be aggressive in those comeback moments with the opposing team because your defense, they're not going to be able to go out there every single week and just get constant stops over and over again. We've seen the Cardinals march back in the matchup. They let the 49ers hang around and they lost that game. The offense just needs to be more aggressive. And I will give Clint Kubiak a lot of credit here. He let Sam Darnold go out there late in the fourth quarter and hit a beautiful deep bomb to Jackson Smith and Jigba on the right side of the field. If you can get more of that out of Sam Darnold and you trust him more with this offense, he can have those plays for you. Because in 4 games this season, 5 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 905 passing yards, 70% of his passes have been completed. Sam is a good quarterback. And you don't need him to be the Sam Darnold that he was last year for the Minnesota Vikings because your defense is better. This is still a defensive first team. And you have a more balanced offense with the running backs here. And this offensive line with Charles Cross at the left tackle position. He's a very good player. Abraham Lucas, as long as he's fully healthy. I remember a few years ago, they had to bring in Jason Peters because he couldn't stay healthy. They gave him a contract extension. Now he's fully healthy. He's a very good right tackle. And you drafted Gray Zabel in the first round. I'm going to say this. Gray Zabel can play center. Right now, he's a left guard. I would love to see him play center at this level, but I'm going to trust in the coaching staff here with Seattle. We'll see how that push can look long-term in the interior of this offensive line. But I think the right spot for Gray Zabel is the center position because you can get an extra push behind him. And that's what they did at North Dakota State. You want to get more interior runs up front. The run game has been inconsistent, but when Kenneth Walker III can get those big chunk plays on the ground, it helps out everyone on the offensive end. I just hate the conservative play calls from time to time with Clint Kubiak, but the pieces are there with Seattle. What concerns me about Seattle the most, you have a bunch of coaches in this division. They'll go out there and they'll say, we'll put it all on the line. We'll go for it on 4th down. Like the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan and the same with the Rams and Sean McVay. And those are 2 talented football teams. So I just can't come on here and say, well, the Seahawks right now, they're red hot. They're the second best team or they're the best team in this division. I believe that 3 teams will make it out. The 49ers, if they can stay fully healthy, the Rams, and the Seahawks. And it may be in that order or it may be different. But Seattle, they're definitely working with something here on the offensive end. And they're still figuring things out. We have 13 games left in the regular season. But if Sam Darnold can stay the course, he can stick with Seattle for the next 4 to 5 years. But if things don't work out, you can cut bait after year 1. And let's not forget, they have Jalen Milroe as a backup quarterback. And I'm not saying put in Jalen Milroe anytime soon. But that's an interesting player to watch out for within the next 2 to 3 years if he can develop as a passer. Sadly, it's hard as hell to develop as a passer in this league, but there is no stress on Jalen Milroe. And I'll say this, let him sit back, let him develop. But right now, your offense is clicking and they're cooking. They just have to be more aggressive in crucial moments. Don't let the Cardinals back into a matchup, and the same with the 49ers here. But the defense, this is the strong suit. They have so many different fronts and so many different names that they can throw at you. Kyler Murray had little to no time inside the pocket. The same with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. And this is a Mike McDonald forte. He will go out there and he'll drop those guys back in coverage over and over again, take away that quick game, and he'll blitz those linebackers. He'll have guys blitzing out of the secondary like Devin Witherspoon. When they brought in DeMarcus Lawrence, that should have told you everything about this Seahawks team on the edge. They want to set the edge and stop the run. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's not in the same conversation with Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and TJ Watt as pass rushers. That's okay. We know that he can have 8 sacks on the season. He's more so of a run stopper. He can push the pocket. But when he's playing alongside 2 top defensive tackles and Byron Murphy, and the same with Leonard Williams, is going to open up his game. And do not forget about Byron Murphy. This man missed a good chunk of last season as a rookie dealing with a hamstring injury. He's a first-round pick for a reason. He can push the pocket. He can stop the run. He can eat up double teams. And the twists and the stunts they can run up front is just nasty because Leonard Williams was one of the best defensive players last year in this league. And he did that without having Byron Murphy Jr. by his side. This is a big defensive group. Remember when I said that they could not stop the run the last 5 years of Pete Carroll? Currently, they're ranked 6th in rushing defense, and we saw their entire defense take a turn for the better when they brought in Ernest Jones last year. Ernest Jones is a very good football player at the linebacker position. He's a prototype for Coach McDonald in this defense, a speedy linebacker that can cover running backs in space, that can go out there, bring down the quarterback, and he's excellent against the pass. He's made Kyler Murray's life a living hell over and over again so far in this division. And it's very interesting because he got drafted by the Los Angeles Rams. They traded him to the Tennessee Titans. He couldn't find a home. Now he has a home with the Seahawks, and it's a perfect fit. Jaron Reed is a very good defensive end, but this is my favorite pass rusher personally on this roster. and that's Derek Hall. When it's 3rd and long, this man's job is not to go out there and stop the run. He's not going to go out there and cover anyone in space. He's going to pin his ears back and be a hunter and get to the quarterback over and over again. And he's become a better rushing defender so far this season than he was last year. It's an excellent front seven to have when you have a coach and Coach McDonald, and that's what he based his defense off of with the Baltimore Ravens. The secondary here, Devin Witherspoon, phenomenal player. He's the best player that they have in the secondary as long as he's fully healthy, and he's missed some time this season dealing with an injury, but he's expected to play for the rest of the season right now. It's the reason why you drafted him out of Illinois in the 1st round, an excellent player. But Tariq Woolen, I'm worried about Tariq Woolen personally. Tariq Woolen hasn't been the same player since his rookie season. He's giving up a lot of big plays over the top. He's becoming a holding machine. He needs to play better. And every single year since that rookie year, it's gotten worse, it's gotten worse, and it's gotten worse. They need him to play better. Because if he can't, and if he's going to continue to be a holding machine, they drafted the safety in Nick, who can come down, he can play that nickel cornerback position, and he can play over the top. You won't see Tariq Woolen get many snaps anymore with Seattle. And that's not this big bold hot take. I've seen Coach McDonald do this before with the Baltimore Ravens. You get a bunch of penalties, he'll sit you down. You're hurting the team. And Tariq Woolen is better than this. He has to get out of his own head, and he has to be better. And Josh Jobe, he's a solid corner. Julian Love is a very good safety. The same with Kobe Bryant. They can go out there and they can make plays over and over again. You have your Chad Nwosu, who's a solid rotational pass rusher, and the same with Boye Mafe. This is a strong defense with Seattle. And you're just one game last year from making the NFL playoffs. I don't want to come on here and say that they're Super Bowl contenders because that'll be crazy. But I can definitely see them making the NFL playoffs. The thing here with Seattle is how far can Sam Darnold get you against those elite level teams? Because if you go against a team like the Rams and you're very conservative and Sam Darnold does not have enough time inside the pocket, you're asking for a dangerous situation to happen. But right now, the way that Sam Darnold is playing and how he played last year, the ceiling is higher with him than it was with Geno Smith. And I love what Seattle's doing right now. It's a tough division with the 49ers and the Rams, but right there is Seattle. Continue to be consistent on both ends of the ball, and the same with special teams, and this could be a hard team to beat for the rest of the year. And I have them being a hard team to beat. And I said this in the offseason when they're making so many different moves. The coaching staff matters. And how they ended last season could definitely help you out this year. And they've carried over all of that momentum on the defensive end. They have a playoff-ready defense. I'm just very intrigued right now with the fit of Sam Darnold and Clint Kubiak. And right now, it's a better fit than Geno Smith and Ryan Grubb. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Seattle Seahawks and where do you rank them in this division? Behind the 49ers, the Rams, and the Arizona Cardinals. Do you have them first, second, or third, or even fourth? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.